Welcome everyone to SunWater Spa Sunday morning yoga. This will be a Hatha class as usual, and the focus of classes this week are the nexus between mindset and yoga. So what is meant by mindset? Maybe for many of you this is synonymous with mentality, attitude, the chitta in yoga, the lens through which you see the world, your perception, how it's colored. All of those things are correct. And as a mindset coach, as one of my day jobs when I'm not teaching yoga, understanding the nexus between mindset and yoga is very important to me. I'd sum it up in this way. The way that you perceive the world, your mindset in any given situation or any given time, is a function of two things. One, the level of awareness one can muster in any moment. And that itself is a reflection of your contemplative practice, your ability to be present and embodied. And two, your identity. And this also is something that yoga, whether it's Hatha yoga or any of the other 7 limbs of yoga, has been focused on for millennia, which is this identity, not of the limited self, the egoic self alone, but this identity as a much higher being, a being that is comprised of consciousness, that has an individuated aspect, but is this part of this supreme cosmic knowing, cosmic consciousness. And that latter piece, that identity piece, when we're aware of the depth of who we are, our union with all that is, our mindset at any given time is very fluid, very open, very growth-oriented. So as we practice Hatha yoga today, this is something to have running in your awareness. If ever you find yourself limiting what it is that you can do, ask yourself, am I limiting this out of self-knowledge? In which case, in your practice, very important to honor that and do no harm to yourself. Or am I limiting my movement, my abilities, because I'm closed down, because I have an image of myself or perception of myself that is less than what actually is? In that latter case, I encourage everyone throughout the practice today to drop down into the body, open the heart, open the awareness, and experiment. Engage in the divine play that is Hatha yoga. Pranayama this morning. Come to a comfortable seat and simply begin to notice your breath exactly how it is. Maybe setting up for class this morning, you were in a bit of a rush, so the heart's all aflutter. In that case, simply notice and let your awareness of that heart fluttering have a curative effect. If the breath is really shallow, find more depth and begin to adjust the breath consciously, breathing in through the nose, lifting the front and back of the heart, bringing the spine to an elongated upright position. And on the next exhale, let the knees come down toward the floor. If you're in a kneeling position, let the sits bones sink deeper into the heels. We'll do a simple, energizing breath this morning. It's called Paraka. It goes like this. Long, slow breath in, pressing into the sits bones. Breathe in through the nose. Take as much as 8 seconds to breathe in. And then there's a short, free exhale that follows. Can be out the nose or out the mouth. Long, slow, 8-count breath in. Free exhale. And continue. Long, slow breath in. As you're breathing in, think about gaining energy. Filling out your form with this pranic energy. It's abundantly available. And continue breath in, breath out. 8 in, free exhale out. For several more rounds. A few things you can do as you continue the breath to gain energy, to expand your openness, your awareness. First, imagine the heart. And as you breathe in, feel the heart expanding, the whole chest cavity expanding. You might even think of the heart like a plant and the breath as water, watering the plant as you breathe in and helping it to grow and expand. You might also turn your gaze up to the third eye center, whether the eyes are closed or open. Gaze upward, and to yourself make the original sound, Om. One last round of breath. Puraka. Energizing breath. Open eyes, bring hands to heart center, bow in. Place hands down on thighs and begin to circle the upper body over the lower. You may notice throughout the practice today that Puraka, the pranayama we practice, might continue. You might notice yourself taking a long, slow breath in and a shorter, swifter exhale out. If ever during the practice you need a little bit more energy, it's a great way to go. Reverse direction. There are so many simple ways to gain energy and to change your mindset in the reverse way that we often think of mindset. Usually we think of mindset as something we do mentally. Thich Nhat Hanh, the famous Vietnamese monk, spiritual teacher, advised his students to wake up in the morning, look at themselves in the mirror and smile. Come back to center. Because the smile, reach up hands, has an effect on the body that's enlivening. It actually can help you feel happy. Place hands down. Fingertips toward hips. Lift the hips. Exhale, hips down, arms up. Back bend. Hands down, fingertips away this time. Lift hips, stretch the forearms. Stretch the wrists, open the thighs. Exhale down, hands up. Inhale, press into sits bones. Back bend, exhale. Just a gentle lift to start this morning. Ease into it. Hands down. Fingertips away again. Lift hips. Roll the thighs open here. Almost come onto shins if you can. Exhale down. Hands up. Exhale, twist to the right side. Inhale up. Twist to the left. Exhale to activate the twist. Inhale up. Separate the hands. Spread the fingers out. Really express the palms. Shine the palms forward. Then drop the hands behind the back. Clasp hands, bring palms together, and fold forward. Firm abdomen here. Now lift the shoulders toward each other, shoulder blades closing in. Press into shins, separate hands, lift them up. And now free twist. Nice and slow and steady. You'll notice I'm bringing my head in the opposite direction of the shoulders, which is not normally the case. But it does help to cross-wire the brain in the morning. Sometimes we wake up and it's as if the brain is two separate brains, the left side and the right side. Cross-wiring by reaching across the body can help with that. Arms up. Drop the left hand down, bring the right hand over the top of the head and grab the left ear. Let the weight of the right arm bring the head toward the shoulder as you relax the left shoulder. And release. Hands up. Drop the right arm this time. Left arm reaches over. Exhale, left ear toward left shoulder. And release. Right hand crosses the heart, comes up and grabs the left ear. And grab the top of the ear between thumb and forefinger and work your way down the ridge all the way to the lobe. Massaging it down and then tugging on the lobe a bit. Other side. Cross the body over the heart with left hand. Grab the ridge of the ear and work your way down to the lobe. Pull down. Good. And release. Move forward into a table position. Unfurling the legs. Spread out the fingertips. Spread the hands out, roll the wrists a bit. Bring the hips directly over the knees, shoulders right over the elbows, right over the wrists. Reach up with the left hand as you move the right hand closer into the center. Exhale it down. Switch sides. Reverse. Preparing for twists today. Exhale. As a rule, when you warm up with micro, gentle versions of the poses that you plan to use in your home practice. So if you're going to do deeper twists later in the practice, make sure you get some gentle twists in at the beginning. Hands back underneath shoulders. Inhale, chest forward, dip the belly, arch the back, gaze up into cow. Press into hands, create distance between the shoulder blades, lift the back of the heart. In cat, chin to chest. Cat and cow, a few more, your own pace. Try one breath, one movement. And come back to center. Come to a standing position. Hips shoulder width, maybe a little wider. Rise all the way to standing. Arms up overhead. And bring hands down to hips. Once again, circle hips. Other direction. I've been doing a lot of sitting during this homestay rule. Moving the hips is a great way to energize the legs, energize the whole body. Come into a mindset of fluidity. Awakeness, growth. Good. Come back to center. Stand into the right leg, lift the left. Cross the left leg over the body, touch down, lift up, set it down. Lift the right leg standing into the left. Cross over, touch, lift, out. We'll do this a few more times on each side, your own pace. Find the stability in the base foot and notice the connection between the breath and the stability. What do you have to do in the base leg to keep it stable? What do you have to do with the upper body to keep it stable? What's the position in the foot? Is your weight forward toward the ball of the foot or more back? A few more. Now bend forward. Bend the legs. Bring the belly in between the thighs, like a gorilla. And then let the head come forward, release the neck. Walk your hands over to the right side. And then to the left. Walk your hands in between the feet. Lift the hips. Bend forward all the way. Lengthen the spine. Come to a neutral position. Maybe that involves walking the hands up toward the shins or thighs. Feel the extension. Now press into the feet, and with the spine neutral, come all the way up, flat back. Inhale the arms up. Now drop your hips into Utkatasana. In Utkatasana, bring some strength into the belly. Corset the core together and shift your weight to the heels as you lengthen your arms and bring your biceps up towards your ears. Now drop the right hand down in between the feet and raise the left hand up as you twist. Again, good core strength here. Breathe in through the nose and tense the belly. Reverse hand position. Left hand comes down. Press into feet. Raise the right hand. Imagine a long line of energy from the crown of your head all the way out through the sacrum as you twist. Top hand down. Lift hips. Forward fold. Shift weight to balls of feet. Lift neutral spine. Long flat back. Next inhale, come all the way to standing. Arms up. Back bend. A little further this time than in warm up. Inhale, lift up straight. Exhale to the right side. Inhale up. Bend to the left. Notice what the left hip wants to do here. It seems to want to pop forward and drag the right hip forward to match. Lengthen right arm. Inhale up. Arms forward. Keep them in the sockets. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Squeeze the thighs toward each other and sink down. to about a right angle, meaning the upper leg is at a right angle to the lower leg. Lift your heels higher. Stand, dropping heels, hands above head. Drop again to Utkatasana, this time hands to heart center. Find a place for the thumbs in your sternum. Lift the elbows, create tension in between the hands. Again, thighs are moving toward each other, but there's distance in between them. Sit a little deeper. And bring your right elbow to your left knee. Now here automatically, the right knee wants to come forward. Bring the left knee forward to match. Or draw the right knee back. So they're in the same plane. Untwist. Other side. Exhaling. Bring the left elbow to the right knee and draw the right knee forward. Gaze turns upward. Really lift out of the ribs. If the ribs are moving toward the thigh, lift into the belly. Bring the navel back toward the spine in the twist. Exhale, hands forward. Lift hips. Neutral spine. Forward fold. As you're in forward fold, bring the hands outside the feet. Lift the hips a little higher. See if you can use the strength of the core to get the legs to a straight position and just up, right up and down. Maybe you have to walk your hands forward a little bit to get there. If so, remember to use the abdomen. Walk back with the feet. Place palms down on the floor. Come into a plank position. Make adjustments with the hands here. Spread out fingers once again. And rock back and forth. Notice if your hips are sagging or if they're too far up. Work with the body here to come into alignment. Drop to knees. Bring your hips and heels together. Walk the hands forward a bit to bring the elbows off the ground. Exhale the chest forward, then the forehead. Drink in a big, deep breath through the nose. Take your time. And then a faster exhale. Imagine you're pushing a marble in between the hands along the floor with your nose. Creep forward, squeezing the elbows in toward the ribs. Then lift the hands and lift the upper body. Place the tops of feet on the floor and kick. Exhale down. Inhale, chest up. This time you can press into the hands a bit, lift a little higher. I talked earlier about awareness, the body, as a key to understanding your mindset. So check in right now. How even or uneven is the breath? How relaxed are you? How free are you of tensions? Pressing the hands once again. Up dog. If you straighten your arms, just leave a little bend in them. You can imagine the heart's like a flashlight beaming forward. Or maybe it's a lighthouse, a beacon. Exhale all the way down. Adjust hand position, tuck toes. Rise to plank once again. Drop to knees, hips to heels. Devotional pose. Come up through table. Tuck your toes and lift your hips for first down dog of the day. In down dog, stretch the calves. One then the other. Allow the head to dangle down. Make any adjustments you need to feel comfortable in the dog. And then express both heels toward the floor. Press into hands. Feel the forearms rotating in toward each other. And the scapulae, which are the shoulder blades, they kind of form a cobra's hood along the back. Wrapping them around. Walk forward in between the hands. And once again, lift the arms. Upper legs are at a right angle to the lower legs, or somewhere near that. Shift the weight back. Lift the heels. Rise to standing. Separate the feet out. Arms to T. Drop hands to hips. Press the hips gently forward. As you lift the heart, as if on an imaginary pulley system attached to the ceiling. If you're outdoors, attach the pulley system to the heavens. And just lift, lift, lift. Back bends are really more about lifting up than they are about bending back, done properly. Inhale, pressing the feet, arms back to T. Forward fold. Neutral spine. Inhale, tuck the tailbone, tense the abdomen, come upright. Heel toe the feet in just a bit. Hands back to Malasana. Sink hips. Slow and steady today. Feel the tension between the knees and the elbows. The elbows should be pressing out slightly against the knees, assisting the thighs to roll open so that you can even lift the toes and shift your weight back further. This requires some core strength to do, some flexibility in the hips. Find the edge of where you can go. Maybe your hips can go a little lower. Pelvic floor can drop further. This is hard on the knees though. Protect the knees. Sometimes having a growth mindset is opportunistic, but other times it's about self-awareness and doing no harm. It's not always about finding a further edge of the practice. Inhale, rise in slow motion, back to star. Turn the toes forward and fold forward again. Walk the hands forward. Step the feet back or take a little hop. Bring the shoulders in front of the fingertips. Squeeze the elbows in toward the ribs. Chaturanga, followed by, no surprise, up dog. In up dog, bring your weight to the base of the thumb and the base of the forefinger. Tuck toes. Return to down dog. Lift the right leg in the air behind you. Open the hip, stack the right on top of the left. Straighten the right leg, pressing into the heel. Bring it right to the center of the body. And as you do so, open the heart. Then crunch, bring the forehead to the knee. Bring the foot back, set it down. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. Stack hips. Exhale. Straighten the leg. Bring it to the midline. Open the heart. And then crunch. Step back and down. Drop the knees down to the floor. Walk the hands back and come to a standing kneel position. Preparing for Ustrasana, camel. Camel's an intense back bend. So go at this slowly and follow my example first before you make an effort. Press into both knees, tops of feet on the floor. Lift out of the hips. Continue lifting up in the heart. Bring the shoulders back and hands back. If this is how far you go today in camel, perfectly fine. Notice how much tension is required in the buttocks and the lower back. But add no more tension than is strictly necessary as you continue to express the hips forward and lift, reach the hands toward the heels. Pretty intense back bend. Last is the head. Inhale, come up. Take your time. Exhale the hips down. Very energizing back bend. After a few breaths, walk the hands forward. Offsetting, counterbalancing that deep back bend. Come into devotional pose. Bring the hands back. Come to a seated position, soles of feet together. Sometimes when you're practicing at home, it's good to remember counter poses, but also there might be layers of counter pose. Reach the hands up. Forward fold, neutral spine to start. Baddha Konasana is the name of this pose. Relax the insides of the thighs. Bring the ears in between the biceps and then round forward. Still exercising the core muscles to bring you forward, but allow the spine to round. Whether it's counter poses or just in general, always a good idea to keep the knees bent if you're rounding the back. This protects the discs from being crimped, pinched, and eventually bulging. Press into sits bones. Come to an upright position. Flap the knees. Excellent. Extend the right leg. Bring the sole of the left foot all the way out, or if that's too strenuous for you, bring the sole of the left foot to the right thigh. Turn your upper body toward the knee. Hinge forward from the waist. The reason I'm keeping my arms in right now is because so often we end up reaching past our limits, causing injury by reaching out with the arms. Putting a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart helps me to stay oriented, centered as I fold over the front leg. For those of you who really like to reach, better to reach out and keep the shoulders in the sockets than to necessarily grab for the toes. Now bring the right elbow inside the right knee. Hook the pointer finger and the middle finger around the Achilles heel. Twist so the right shoulder winds up underneath the left. And then extend the left arm up into the air and bend it over. Keep twisting with the breath. I can really feel this in my lower left back, my ribs. Extend the arm as much as you can. Inhale. Press into sits bones. Come out. Switch sides. Sole of right foot. It's at the left thigh now. Rotate your body. Good proud heart here. Shoulders erect. Strengthen the lower back. Hinge forward. Maybe this is as far as you go today. If you're tuned in and feeling good, use the breath on the next exhale to go a little further. Now drop the left elbow inside the left knee. Hook the left Achilles heel. Raise the right arm up. And bend. Rotating left shoulder underneath right. Finding extension through the right side body. All the way from the hip. Up the ribs, lower back. Armpit, elbow, wrist. Attempt to form a line. All the while using the abdominal muscles to hinge forward over the left knee. Ooh, this is an intense stretch. Full breath. Inhale. Arms up. Soles of feet together. Again, Baddha Konasana. And then round. Press in the sits bones. Come to an upright position and extend the legs forward. This is Paschimottanasana from Dandasana. Dandasana, make sure you've got your sits bones really connecting with the floor. Heels are extending, feet are active. You can even spread out the toes. Then lift hand. Then crunch your abdomen forward. Backs and knees can be on floor. Or if the back starts to bend, lift the knees a bit. Inhale, flex the abdomen, come to an upright position, drag the heels back, wrap the arms around the shins, tuck your chin to chest, and fold again. These counter poses can happen in little sequences. It's not always just one fold after an extension or an intense back bend. Maybe sometimes it's two. Counter poses don't have to be held as long as the original pose that they're countering. Inhale up. Bring the hands behind you. Lift the hips into a reverse table. Once the hips are level with the knees, bring the heart up. The head back. And exhale, hips down. Move the heels out from the body a little bit. Rock on the backs of sits bones. And lift the heels up simultaneously as you bring your elbows into ribs and extend the heart upward in Paripurna. Find that sweet spot where you're about to fall if you rock back any further. And exhale, bring hips or heels all the way to floor. Shoulder blades back down. Take your time landing on the ground. Feel the back of the heart contact the mat and the floor. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, back of head to floor. Drag the heels in toward the hips. Place your hands underneath the hips. Lift the legs up. Get the legs as vertical as you can. If you have a shoulder stand in your practice, you may come to it now. Pressing into the hands and elbows to lift upright. Make adjustments, keeping the gaze fixed on the ceiling, always. Bring the elbows in closer. Maybe bring the hands further down the back. Drink in a breath. Scissor one leg. Then the other. Press into the heels. Lift. Both legs up. Counterbalance. Start to bring the back to the floor. Hands come down for breaks. Sarvangasana. Shoulder stand. Heels slowly move to the floor. And touch. Big inhale. Exhale. Relax. Drag the heels in once again. Hands underneath hips. Bury the elbows underneath the ribs. And now lift the hips again. If you'd like a little more out of this pose, again, keeping your gaze fixed on the ceiling. Bring the shoulders underneath you, accentuating the lift of the heart. Clasp hands, heels of hands together. Point pointer fingers in between heels of feet. More still, raise the right leg. All the while lifting the hips and pulse. Really express through the heel. If you want to accentuate this further, you can also come up onto the ball of the left foot. Lift and hold. Bend and down. Other side. Lift the left leg.
Balance the hips. Balance the shoulders in the breath. And then pulse. Few more. Come up on the ball of the right foot. Lift high and come down. Heels land. Hips land on top of hands. Extend the legs on the mat. Bury the elbows and ribs once again. Lift up onto elbows. This is Matsyasana, or fish. As you lift the heart higher, bring the top of the head toward the floor. The angle of the elbows will widen, but continue to lift the chest. Exhale the head up. Let the back come down to the floor. Bring the hands out from underneath the hips. Palms up, heels separate. Shavasana. Bring the knees into the chest. Into Apanasana. Exhale, the chin in between the knees. Bring the shoulder blades up off the mat. Do the work in the abdomen. One of the last times today, check in with your awareness. What's your mindset now? Exhale back down. Heels to floor. Extend your right leg. Draw the left knee in toward the armpit, around the ribs. Clasp it with both hands. Exhale, shoulder blades up. Hold as high as you can, crossing the body. Let it go. Bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee, the left arm to T. Chittara Parivartanasana. All shoulder blades stay on the ground here. Unwind. Lengthen your left leg as you come onto the back. Bring the right knee up toward the armpit. Clasp the shin with both hands. And bring the shoulder blades up off the floor. Higher still. Hold. Continue to breathe. Feel the abdomen doing the work. Exhale the back down. Grab the outside of the right knee with the left hand. Bring the right arm to T. And twist. Gaze toward the right open palm. Drink in a full breath. Even in this twisted position, it's quite possible. Take your time. Maybe it's Puraka, gaining energy. Untwist, legs up in the air. Slowly glide the heels down to the floor as you extend through the legs. Keep the abdomen taut. Feel the tailbone connecting with the mat, with the floor. And finally bring the heels to touch. Slow, steady, with ease and control. Separate the heels. Shavasana. Drink in a big breath through the nose. Swallow. Open the throat chakra. Exhale it all out. Sigh. Winding down here. We'll do a few progressive relaxation type exercises that involve flexing a part of the body or parts of the body that I call out, holding the breath as they're flexed, and then on my count, exhaling and releasing them all. In my opinion, this is one of the best parts of the class. It really exposes that interplay between mindset and yoga, where one has to start giving up instead of exerting, really giving up, surrendering, allowing the energy to flow in the body, allowing everything to relax. Theoretically, of course, throughout the practice, even in very challenging asana, this can be happening, perhaps should be happening. But it's especially blissful to relax in the Shavasana state. Start by drinking in a big breath through the nose. Holding the breath and tense the feet by pulling the toes back toward the nose. Activating the arches of the feet. Rolling the shins and thighs toward each other and pressing the heels into the ground. Hold as tense as you can for 3, 2, 1. Exhale and let it all go. Next, inhale. Take your time. At the height of the inhale, hold the breath. And then inhale again as you tense the abdomen. Hold the breath. Corset the core muscles together. Squeeze the insides of the upper arms in toward the ribs. Drag the shoulders up toward the ears. Hold everything there, feeling the back of the heart pressing into the floor, into the mat. 3, 2, 1. Let it all go. Release. Relax. Feel the weight of the ground supporting the body, as if you could rest eternally, no matter what your mass, your weight, and completely and easily be supported. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Last inhale in this progressive relaxation. Drink in a big breath. Retain the breath. Clamp the eyes closed as firmly as you can. Feel the upper and lower jaw connect at the teeth. Roll the eyes in the head, press the back of the head into the floor. As you're retaining the breath, bring more tension still into the face, the neck. And on 3, 2, 1, exhale, release. Ah, such goodness, such ease. It's time to let the body completely take over the function of the breath, like it so naturally always does for us. The mind's only job as we slip into Shavasana is to let it all happen and simply notice. On the count of 5, we'll move toward complete and utter relaxation. 5. The eyes are completely closed, lids very heavy all of a sudden. 4. Throat, mid-back, hips are all relaxed, and the toes track out, relaxing the thighs and legs. 3. The mind notices the ribs expand, the belly expand and contract without any effort, simply naturally happening. 2. The hands feel extremely warm and heavy, utterly relaxed. The palms are open to the ceiling and the backs of the hands feel like great weights on the floor. 1. From within, who knows where, heart begins to expand, fill up with white light. The abdomen, the lower back as well, the hips, this white light begins to permeate the body. It extends beyond the body out through the skin into the room, and with it comes an enormous sense of peace, tranquility, equanimity. 1, you are completely and utterly relaxed.
Begin your return to an embodied state of awareness. Flutter the eyes. Lift the tongue and the roof of the mouth and let it come back down. Move the head from side to side. And move the body side to side as well. Press into the heels, lift the hips, and set them back down. And then take a deep breath into the body. And on the exhale, direct the energy of the breath out to the extremities. It can begin to roll, clasp and release, flex and release. Next, big inhale, reach the hands up over the head. Stretch in opposite directions. On the exhale, make your way onto your favorite side, into the fetal position. Take one last moment to integrate the practice here and to feel how all needs are met. Feel the intersection between that peaceful state of mind and the joyful work of yoga that you've just completed for the day. Remember that the quality of your experience in life is a function of the way you perceive the world, the way you perceive yourself, and that life is a yoga. And when you have the heartfelt sense of that, make your way to a seated position to close class. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. We'll inhale together. And on the exhale, make the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. One last time, press into sits bones. Lift hearts, open eyes. From my highest self to your highest self, the light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Have a wonderful Sunday, everyone. We'll see you Wednesday morning for class, 8:30 a.m. on my Facebook live stream. And Thursday, 5:45 p.m. MST for Manitou Meditation Immersion, where we'll practice various pranayama, sometimes chants, and sometimes various meditations. Be well.